Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar. Let's wait for a couple of minutes to wait the folks join us. And today we're going to talk about very interesting topic, creative testing. I assume we should have a lot of guys from user acquisition. Let's find out, by the way, please drop a comment. What's your position? Like, for example, UI manager, CMO, and where are you based, guys? Okay, cool.
PPC.
UA, yeah. UA from Italy, wow, cool.
Italy.
Yeah, it's like looks like a marketing party.
Hmm.
Okay, we already have 51 people. Great. Rules marketing from New York. Wow, cool.
California, represent.
Yeah. Goal lead. Yeah. Very nice audience. Very cool. We are waiting for very interesting useful questions from you guys.
Mm-hmm.
We will have 30 minutes for slides. We'll prepare something really useful and interesting content for you, and 15 minutes for Q&A. So if you got some questions, make sure you leave a comment in chat section here, and we will cover them in Q&A session. Okay, let's get started.
All right.
Yeah. Welcome everyone. Today we have a very hot topic and interesting topic, that creative testing for web to app. I think creative testing process is like fuel for your growth for whether web funnels or apps. It's a must, and creative is the king. And today we bring a very great guest, Manson Shan, ex-Com, ex-Cash App. Welcome, Manson. We're super excited to have you here on our webinar. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm super excited, man. Put together very, very, I think, comprehensive slides based on my experience. So let's get started right away. So again, Manson, I previously growth at Com, Cash App. I used to work at Smartly FMP. Ran DR campaigns for companies like Uber, DoorDash, StubHub, Fabletics, managed 7 to 8 figure monthly spends on Facebook. Now I'm helping subscription brands scale video, creative production, and testing, but that's enough about me. So the agenda today, number one, we're going to talk about the landscape we're in and the latest trends in creative testing, then onto the foundations of a creative testing program that is successful. And then we can do audience research, how we do it, what I think about when I hear the term creative diversity, which you might have all heard about. Then how to set up a creative testing system in Facebook that's very objective, but also cost effective. Then how to scale ads in Evergreen, and then finally the Q&A section. So the landscape right now, finding unicorn ads is hard. This study from AppsFlyer came out earlier this year, and they found that just 2% of ad variations get 68% of spend. 90% of spend is directed towards just 10% of ads. But the caveat in this piece of data is that they already excluded ads with less than $50 of spend. So in reality, a
Mhm.
lot, a lot less than 1 out of 50 ads even make it to this point.
So just to have like two top performer creatives, you need to test like almost 100 creatives. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it is something. Yeah.
this is the landscape we are in now. This piece of data came from Facebook, and it's about 8 years old at this point, but they found that the fastest growing advertisers tested 11 times more ads per month. So 45 versus 4. They found that the average variance in ROAS, or return on ad spend, between top and bottom performing creative, 11x. Um, this is 8 years old at this point, so still holds true, probably more so now.
Yeah, I think
Now,
the same thing regarding like web onboarding and monetization. So the faster you iterate with the thing, and the more experiments you have with your like the whole funnel, creatives, web onboarding, monetization, the more probability you
yeah,
succeed with the funnel.
yeah, there's a lot of parallels. It's like
Yeah,
iterative testing, keep testing, and don't be afraid to test.
yeah,
Yeah. Now, the third piece of data came from Veros. They analyzed 5,000 meta accounts connected to their platform. And they found that advertisers spending 100 to 500K per month had an average of 335 ads, getting over 20 impressions in a given month, while advertisers that are 500,000 to 1 million have 422 active ads. Smaller advertisers, 10 to 100K per month, have 103. So it's a little bit like a chicken and egg situation going on. It You can't really grow unless you test a lot of ads, but then you also need the budget for some testing. But in future slides, I'll show you how to test cost effectively. Cool. So some creative trends that I have noticed and I'm very excited about as we head into 2025. Lo-fi ads. And by the way, you'll get access to these slides after the webinar. I don't know why these videos, I think I have to click them for them to load. I included some examples of lo-fi ads from companies like Calm and Hexclad, and some from Rise Science, but these ads are definitely unpolished and they don't look like an ad. And I think that's one main reason that they perform very well. So, things like these little post-its, writing on a whiteboard, iMessage, Slack message, Google Hangouts, like these all don't look like an ad, but they're very sneaky. They are ads.
yeah. I like it very much, and I noticed also the latest trend with stickers, with like said it, we are looking for women who are trying to lose weight, for example, or really extra or something.
Yeah, yeah, those are great too. And your team put together a great resource on Notion, and a great job on all the creative trends that they've spotted too.
I think.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, that's one example of an ad. Look through each of these on your own time. Okay, so another very exciting thing, AI UGC, very hot topic. Um, so software like ArcAds, Pollday, Creatify, Captions AI, TikTok Creative Symphony, HeyGen, CapCut, these all help a lot with the cost of production for these type of ads. So I'll just play one of these for you if the audio's playing. Yeah, so these are just some examples of AI UGC ads that you can test. Definitely helps with creative diversity, which I'll touch upon in a future slide.
Yeah, they look like natural, and it's not even like not that not simple that it's like AI generated. Do you know, by the way, how many creatives are produced right now with AI or with actors? Like, what's the split?
That's a great question, and I think it's hard to say. I'd say maybe about 10%, 20%. It'll depend a lot on the advertiser. I see them as just any other type of ad. They might work for you or they might not. But overall, it's good to see that it's being tested. They have a very low cost of production, which is a good benefit.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So I'll go on to the next slide. AI statics. So we've all probably seen these type of ads, but Midjourney and Flux, which is an open source text to image model, helps you test these types of concepts very, very quickly and iterate very fast. A pro tip, there's a company called replicate.com or .ai. They have a lot of open source text to image models, and you can just build a little API call to generate hundreds of these types of images at a time. And then you can just apply this text overlay onto them in a tool like Canva. And it's, a lot faster than Midjourney, where you have a Discord interface or a chat interface, and you can only generate a couple at a time. So that's a little pro tip. AI video. So the leader in AI video right now is Gen 3 from Runway. And I love the AI visual hooks that you'll see here. They all kind of lead to the same body video. And I think I included these examples from Better Me, where they're just testing AI visual hooks.
It's just for hooks, yeah. It's not the whole creative. Okay.
Exactly, yeah, just for hooks. And it's a very modular approach they're taking, where they're testing hooks and then just leading into a body video that they see perform very well. Yeah.
Do you see, by the way, do you see any like difference in creative strategy for app campaigns and web campaigns, like approaches and hooks and kind of?
Yeah, I think the overall approach is the same. The main difference is the optimization events that apps have versus web. And I think one main advantage that web has is that you still have user level data. Whereas if you're running an iOS campaign, you either have scan or you have aggregated event management. Scan, you have to hit your privacy thresholds to start getting user level data. With aggregated event management, ad level data is modeled. It's a faster feedback loop than scan still, but I think with web, you still have the advantage of user level tracking, user level data.
Sounds cool.
Okay. Now, another piece of creative trend that I think is super interesting is this podcast style ad, and included some examples from Obvi, Headway. This Headway ad is also using an AI voice. And you can look through these slides on your own after. This one's from Hexclad. They're running this right now for Black Friday. What's great is also that it doesn't look like an ad and is playing onto the authenticity factor. And if you're in the US, you know how important podcasts are in the media.
Yeah.
It seems like it's more trusted now than legacy media. But yeah, it's cool to see that advertisers test into this and see it work.
Yeah, it works very well. It just like attract your attention immediately, so you start listening.
Yeah,
And
like
yeah, and you don't realize that it's like it's ad.
Yeah,
The first
exactly.
glance. Yeah,
You think it's
yeah.
just two people talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Now, oh, again, go check out the resource that was just shared on Notion. There's a lot of creative trends that the Funnel Fox team put together. It's great. But I want to go into the foundation of what I think you need. You need this to build a successful Facebook. Yeah, just ad account structure, performance. So number one, conversion API. If you just have the pixel, I think the stat is that you're losing around 15% of your conversion data. And Andre can fact check me on this one, but if you have the conversion API, you're going to give Facebook more signal. And then with more signal, Facebook's algorithm will make better decisions based on who to deliver your ads to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So the one of the most like important benefits that you can have like pixel attribution conversion API, and you can get more signals yeah, for optimization. So
Yeah.
work very well. Yeah.
Mhm. And then I heard this said very well on a recent podcast with the CMO of Facebook on an e-marketer podcast, but he said you need a high volume of ad variations and just let your audience vote on what the best ad is. Bottom performing ads won't get any spend. Your best ads are going to get a lot of spend. So just let your audience vote. Low cost per creative. This is especially important for performance testing because we've seen those earlier stats where the vast majority of your ads are not going to win. They're not going to hit your benchmarks. So you want to keep your cost per creative low so that you can just test more ideas. Next point, never stop testing. I hear a lot of horror stories where brands find a winning ad and they rest on their laurels and they just stop testing. And this is bad if you want to scale, because as you spend more and more, your ads will get more impressions, they will start to fatigue. So you always need an army of new ads behind your winning ads so that it soaks up spend, and so you can scale your ad account.
Yeah. Do you have any like numbers as a benchmark? How many creatives you should test per week, for example, per month? Do you have any numbers?
Yeah, I'll get to this later in the slide.
Okay.
Yeah, I can go into it now, but I would recommend around 10 to 20% of your marketing budget go into creative testing. And yeah, just a little foreshadowing, but I'll give you some automated triggers as well to make sure every ad gets minimum spend so that you're not underspending on ad tests, which is something that I see happen pretty often, actually.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Research phase. What One example of something that I like to do is upload your reviews into ChatGPT. Ask it to find you 20 concise 5-star reviews that you can use for Facebook ads. And you can use these testimonials as lo-fi static ads. One thing that we did while I was at Calm was we tested 50 different testimonials because that's the limit per ad set. You need 50 ads to hit it out. But we ran a very simple test to surface the top 3 to 5 testimonials out of those 50. And we just kept using those 3 to 5 testimonials in all our video ads. So it could be a very good way to test into what the best piece of social proof or messaging is for your ads.
Yeah, great hack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool tool. It's called the GigaBrain, but I like to just search it for just to see what people are saying about your brand or your category or your niche online. So you can look into all the Reddit threads that mentioned your brand or your category and see what language people use. Because you want to use the language, you want to use their language for their ads.
So you can get like the ton of voice and language that you can use in messages and creators.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, got it.
Exactly. Well, better put than I did. You said that way better than I did.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. Similar thing. Post comments, add comments. You want to use their language. Yeah. Like in this case, does it cut out all the life stories you have to read through before you can get to the damn recipe? That's like an interesting story that people have, and it's something that resonates with me. I don't like looking at all the life stories when I want to just look at the recipe. And then, of course, you want to look at ad libraries. Motion Analytics just released a free ad library tracking tool. You can track brands like I like following Headway, Loop Earplugs, Rise Superfoods, Better Me, Rise Science, Calm. These are all brands that are doing a very diverse set of creative and a very high volume testing. So I always look to them for inspiration, and yeah, I recommend you take a look at their ad libraries too.
Yeah, I would also add Noom. Noom also has good creative strategy. I heard that Rise Science and Noom use the same agency for creative production, and sometimes you can see like similar hooks they can use in these.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those visual hooks that they use they can be pretty absurd, but I like that they're more loose about the brand guidelines because you never know what'll work. And yeah, my favorite hooks from them are like the food related hooks where they pour sugar into coffee or something, or they dunk a burrito into some sauce. Yeah, it works very well. Okay, now creative diversity, something that I hear a lot, and I tried to break it down into what I think about when I think about creative diversity. So this is a little mind map of all the universal human motivators here on the top right. If you've read copywriting books, they mention these motivators that you can use for your angles. So you want to start here on the top right, and then look at the stage of awareness. Like you have the unaware people, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, most aware. So for example, if you want to hit people in the bottom of the funnel, what is really helpful are static ads with testimonials. If you want to start at the top of the funnel, video ads with problem solution scripts tend to work well. Messaging frameworks, you can test listicle styles like 3 Reasons Why, common myths, problematics solution. And then once you get the right-hand side here sorted out and you have a message and angle that you want to test, then you can kind of explode out all the formats you can apply that into, like static ad formats with post-it notes, Reddit post screenshot, iMessage conversations. Like you've seen these examples earlier. Video formats like AI UGC, Talking Head UGC. Yeah, this is how I think about creative
it's great mind
diversity.
map. Yeah. We'll share it later in follow-up email so you can see it in lunch. And we have a qualifying question from Maxine. Motion.com, is it tool?
I think
motionapp.com.
I think it's no. If I would Google Motion Creative Analytics, it's different from the Motion. Yeah, there's a couple Motions, but I would Google Motion Creative Analytics.
Okay, we'll send it later.
Yeah, good question. Creative diversity. So our job is just to test combinations of concepts and messages until we find things that work and just double down, keep doubling down on what works. Creative testing setup, nitty gritty stuff. So the general way people do it is they have a separate testing campaign. And within the testing campaign, I like to have ad set concepts or ad set tests. Within the ad set, I'd have around 4 to 6 ad variations. And for instance, if you want to test hooks, I would test 4 different text hooks or 4 different visual hooks on the video. Everything else you have to keep the same so that you can measure what piece of variable or what piece of thing you're testing is actually making a difference. And in this example, green ads or ads that meet your KPI goal get sent into the evergreen ad set. And I'll show you how I recommend doing it, but you want to iterate on the green and yellows, and then the red ones you can just stop iterating on because they're not working. I recommend broad country level targeting, highest volume for delivery. You can start at $100 to $200 a day on those ad sets. And then mentioned earlier, 10 to 20% of your Facebook budget dedicated to always on creative testing. And to be objective and be cost effective, I like to set stop loss triggers on ads in the creative testing campaign. Here is some example, like starting gates that you can apply, 3x CPA. If your cost per trial is $50 and an ad has spent $150 and it's not gotten a trial yet, you can pause it. Same goes for these other gates, and you can adjust these over time based on your situation. So winning ads from the testing campaign, I recommend taking the post ID rather than just duplicating the ad, because when you duplicate the ad, it creates a new post and it'll fragment your social proof. And I had a client A/B test this versus just duplicating an ad, and sharing the post IDs was better. So you can get the post ID by going to Ads Manager, see Facebook posts with comments, look at the URL, and copy the numbers after post slash. So in this example, the post ID is everything that's bolded and underlined. And then when you go into your evergreen campaign, you can create a new ad, and then in the ad, you can select from existing post ID, and then you can paste that post ID. Then evergreen scaling setup. Very, very exciting because you have some winning ads now. I recommend having bid caps or cost caps on your evergreen campaign ad sets and setting a very, very high daily budget so that you're always capped by your cost goal. Rather than if you have lowest cost setting or auto bid on. When you scale your daily budgets, it won't do as good of a job keeping your costs in line. And just have broad targeting, exclude your current subscribers, keep pumping it with fresh creative. And sometimes the ads won't take off right away in the ad set with an existing winner, because Facebook's gonna keep delivering to that ad that's working. In this case, you can set up a separate ad set for new winners and try to keep these ad sets with 6 ads per ad set. We did a study when I was at Smartly where they tried to find the optimum amount of ads per ad set. Facebook recommended around 6, and when we were at Smartly, our data science team also found that about 6 ads per ad set was the sweet spot. And if you have a Facebook rep, if you're lucky enough to have a Facebook rep, get your account whitelisted for bid multipliers API. This will allow you to bid higher on high LTV demographics like, females over 40, and bid lower on low LTV demos, for example, 18 to 24. This will help you to just keep your broad targeting, but skew the delivery of the algorithm to people that have higher LTV. And I included a Python script and instructions in the speaker notes in the slides. And then measurement. I like to use Facebook's free ad reporting tool, super, super easy to use and set up. In this slide, I just set up color codes based on cost per result, or CPA. You can look at hook rate and hold rate and all these other metrics for videos. Monitor creative hit rate, which is the number of creatives that hit your KPI goal or CPA goal divided by the number of creatives that you've tested. And I like to say that around a 10% creative hit rate is very good. When you're testing a lot of video ads, benchmarks, you can create a custom metric for hook rate, which is a 3-second video view divided by impression, aim for above 30%. Hold rate, which is a through play or a 15-second video view divided by impression, aim for somewhere around 10%. Click-through rate, link click-through rate above 1%. So very, very important. You need to follow a standardized naming convention at the ad level so that you can like slice and dice in Excel, do some split part magic, do a pivot table, all that, just to see what concepts are working, text hooks, visual hooks, et cetera, et cetera. So here's an example of an ad name template that I'm using. And finally, keep an open mind, because you never know which creative will work. Just keep testing.
Just experiment. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
And yeah, thank you and good luck. And I'm here to help if you have any questions. We're here to help.
Thank you very much, Vincent. It's very interesting, very amazing content.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's get to the questions. We have a few questions. The first one from Jessica. How often to refresh creatives?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would, as mentioned earlier, I would have an always on creative testing campaign. So you're constantly pumping your evergreen ad sets and evergreen campaigns with fresh new creative. When you start to see your winning ads fatigue, if you start to see like CTR drop, or if you start to see CPA increase, I like to look at a rolling average of 7 or 14 days of your ad before making a decision. But if you start to see your ads start to just get too costly, then I would pause it. And that's when you have the benefit of having pre-tested ads in your evergreen campaign.
Yeah, cool. Next question from Victor. Are you testing campaign setup as a CBO, or the budget is set on the ad set level?
That's a good question. I don't think it's as important. You can test either CBO or ABO. It depends on how you want to set it up. I would recommend having bid caps or cost caps on those evergreen ad sets and just have a very, very high daily budget. And if you're having a CBO campaign, have a high budget on that campaign. If you have an ad set budget optimization campaign, just have high budgets on those ad sets and just cap your delivery with bid caps and cost caps.
Yeah, cool. Another question from Stan. What ratio of new concepts to variations do you recommend?
That's an advanced question. That's a good one. I start with a 50-50 mix, but if you're in a funk and you're not getting as much winners as you're used to, or your ads are starting to fatigue, I would test maybe a 70-30 split into brand new concepts and less into iterations, so that you can find another local maximum in your creative testing.
Yeah, cool. The next question from Natasha. With iOS 14, how many days do you let the ad testing?
Yeah. So that's one of the drawbacks about running scan attribution for your iOS campaigns, and why I think having web for your testing and scaling on web is a good idea. With iOS scan, first you want to be above your privacy thresholds, but I would recommend instead to use Facebook's aggregated event management, or AEM, as your attribution if you want to run iOS testing. It's going to be a faster feedback loop. You'll see data right away in your ad level data, so that you can make better decisions and faster decisions.
Cool. And a question from Sergey. What about the test in the AA Plus campaign?
Sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
What about the tests in the AA Plus campaign?
AA Plus campaign. Okay, I think yeah, like an automated shopping campaign or an automated. Yeah, that's a good question. So there are brands that have seen success when they test uploading 50 ads into one automated ad campaign, like a ASC campaign. I call this the battle royale style, where it doesn't matter what concept or variation you have, you just throw everything into the same ad set. And I've seen that be very successful for other brands too. The one thing that I would be mindful of is, when you do it this way, you have to keep an eye on your trial to purchase rate, because if you're optimizing for a trial, which is usual for a subscription brand, ad concepts will have very different trial to purchase rates. So if you have an ad out of the 50 that starts to spend and scale more than the others, then just be careful about trial to purchase rate. But I've seen it be successful too. Another drawback of that style of testing is that you're less clear on what's working and why. Yeah,
makes sense. A question from Joel. What's the minimum budget that an app developer can start with monthly, daily, to realistically see results?
I would start around 20 to 30K per month. I think that's a good range to start testing, and have the expectation that it won't work as well in the first couple of weeks, because you're testing ads that are brand new concepts that you don't know whether or not they'll work. You're testing funnels and landing pages that you don't know will work. But I would start around 20 to 30K per month as your monthly budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sergey asks, do you use flexible type of ads?
Yeah, flexible type of ads, that used to be called dynamic creative. One popular method of testing is to just upload 10 different videos or 10 different images into the same ad unit. And then you can add 5 text variations and 5 headline variations. That is a good way of testing also. The one drawback is that you're not able to get the post ID from the winning ad variation this way. But yeah, I recommend testing that, and I've seen that ad type, that flexible ad type scale. Like if you just, yeah, you can just scale that ad type pretty effectively too. So I don't recommend not testing that. It's a good one.
Okay, thank you. Question from Elnur. What's success rate Creo?
Could you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
What success rate Creo? I think it means that what's successful rate for testing creatives.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
Yeah, that's a good one. I would benchmark around 10%. So 1 out of every 10 ads that you test will hit your CPA goal. That's a good one. I think I've heard other brands have about a 2% creative win rate. But I would caution that you don't want to underspend on your ad tests. Like you're just testing a lot just to test a lot, but you're not getting enough data into every variation. Yeah.
Yeah, Kirill asks, what's the best way to launch campaigns with bid? What bid should I put first, less than my CPA or more? And how often should I change it? And what was better, bid cap or cost cap? Like three questions in one.
Yeah, that very cost effective. So bid caps or cost caps can work. So test them both. With cost caps, you want to start at about 25 to 30% above your CPA goal. With a bid cap, I've seen 2 arguments. You want to either start high or you want to start low and increase. But I like to start high with my bid cap and see if I can get any delivery on the ad set. And if I'm able to max out my ad set's daily budget, then that's a good sign that I can start to decrease my bid cap. And there's a general rule of thumb that you can follow. If you change your bid caps, change it by about 20% a day. Yeah, so 20% per day, and then just monitor how your ad sets are delivering. You can even look at hourly level delivery on your ad sets within Facebook's ad reporting, just to make sure that you're not underbidding. Did I get all 3? I hope I did.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. Okay, we have one more question from Jessica. What's the most impactful creative elements? Visuals, messaging, CTA? What do you think?
Excellent question. I think the message is the most important piece. But I think the message and the visual is like a 60-40 mix. So 60% of the importance will be message, and then 40% will be your visual. That's why I think it's so important. And some of the agencies that work with Noom or Rise, they A/B test visual hooks with text hooks, so that you know exactly what's working. But I would always start with the message first.
Cool.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you very much for your questions. I think we can take one more question, the last one, and the other questions we will cover in follow-up email. And the last question from Kirill again, very long question. Can you tell a little bit more on how much conversions you should test to count a creative as tested?
Yeah. So going back to the automated triggers, the first gate, I like to have 3x CPA. So if your cost per trial goal is $50, give it $150 in spend. And if it's gotten 0 conversions, I would pause that. Second gate is around, if your cost per trial goal is $50, then second goal would be $300. And if it's got a CPA over $75, pause it. And then the last gate, if an ad has spent, let's say $500 and cost per trial is still $65, pause it. So each ad is getting roughly the same minimum impression level, same minimum reach level before you're able to make that decision. But yeah, I think this method is a good balance between volume and confidence. I've seen other people say you need at least 20 conversions, but that really limits the amount of ads you can test. But you can test your testing strategy, see what works for you.
It's a nice point. Yeah, a good point. Okay, all right, guys, let's wrap it up. I think, Mason, thank you very much. It was amazing. Yeah,
Thank you so
guys
much
for questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you have a good Thanksgiving. Have a good rest of the day, rest of the week.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thanks, guys.